It's your boy Antonycja back again with another YouTube video, and in today's video we're gonna be teaching you guys how to program. Okay, so how to write code. The language that I'm gonna be teaching you in particular is Python. Okay, in the future there's gonna be more languages coming in. Okay, so I'm gonna pretend that you have never ever heard about code before, and this is your first step into learning how to program. The first thing we're gonna want to do is get all the resources that we need, and I'm gonna leave the links in the video description below. Now I'm currently running on Linux, so some steps might be different for me compared to you, but I'm gonna be showing you guys all the steps that you need to take on whatever operating system you're in. Okay, but I've only used Windows and Linux, so if it's not the same, just Google it. Okay, so now that you know what we're gonna be doing, you might want to know why it's important to learn all these languages. I suggest you do some research on that, and you see the demand that these jobs have. Okay, so without wasting any time, let's actually get into the actual video. Okay, so of course the first thing you want to do here is open up Google Chrome like I've done right here, but I'm gonna leave the links to all the resources that you need in the video description below. Okay, so just click on the link for VS Code. This is the IDE that we're gonna be using, so the place that you're gonna be writing your code in. I highly recommend you using VS Code because VS Code supports almost all the languages that you can possibly think of. Okay, so VS Code is a very good IDE compared to things like PyCharm, which would be best for Python only, which is not something that I recommend you learning. I mean, it's good if you're gonna be a full-time Python developer, but if you want to do other languages, go ahead and download VS Code. So how you would download VS Code is open the link. This will lead you to like this page right here. Okay, so right here, this should actually determine what operating system you're using. As you can see, for me it already says Debian or RPM. Okay, so you can download whichever one you want, but if this is the wrong thing for you, just scroll down, and right here where it says VS Code 4, you get this thing, get started now. So for Windows users, you can either use the system installer or the user installer, so whichever one you want, go ahead and install that. For Linux users, Debian if you are on Debian, and the RPM for those on Fedora and other Linux distros. So you can then go ahead and install any one of these, but I highly recommend you downloading it via the Snap Store. It's much easier. So if you fail to do that, just do some research once again. I know you Linux users. For Mac OS users, this is what they've got for you, so just go ahead and get it installed. So once you're done with that, that should take you to this page right here. Yours will look a bit different just because mine has a different theme. It should take you to this page with the welcome screen and all that stuff. You can go ahead and read through that, or you can just close it. Once you're done with that, I just want you to minimize that. Okay, so just run the installation for everything for VS Code, get it installed, make sure it opens up, and then minimize VS Code. We're not gonna go ahead and install Python. Okay, so in the video description here again, there's gonna be a link to install Python. Okay, so go to that link, and this would be for Windows and Mac OS users. For Linux users, I have a different way you can do it, but you can also do it through this way. That's up to you. Otherwise, you can also do it via the Snap Store. For Windows users, just click on download Python 3 right here. Okay, and if you want to see the other options that are available, just go ahead and hover on top of this download button here. Okay, and that should show you all the operating system you can download for. So for Windows would be right over the Windows tab here, for Mac OS over this tab here, and for Linux users it should be right here on other platforms. Once you're done with that, for Windows and Mac OS users, you're basically done. Now for Linux users, I want you to go ahead and open up your terminal. Okay, so open up your terminal, type in sudo apt install Python 3. Okay, now just to tell you guys that your Linux distro would usually come with Python 2 already installed, but we don't want Python 2, we want Python 3. Okay, so once you run that, click enter, type in your password and enter again, and it should run through that. And as you can see, mine is already installed. Okay, so mine is already there, so there's nothing to install. And once you're done with that, I want you to just type in sudo apt-update. Okay, just to make sure that your system is up to date. And once you've typed in that, that should run through that and let it finish. And if there's some updates that needs to be done to update everything. Okay, so as you can see, my thing is finished updating. There's some things that need to be upgraded, but I'm not gonna do that just now, but you can go ahead and do yours if you want to. Really, it's up to you. Okay, so once you're done with that, Linux users, you're basically done. And just to double check, so just type in Python 3. As you can see, for me, I just typed in Python and it already told me that Python 3.8.5 is already installed. Go ahead and close your terminal. We don't need that anymore. And now we need to open up our VS Code. So the first thing I want you to do in VS Code is go ahead and go to the extensions tab. Okay, so extensions tab. First thing I want you to do is type in Python. Okay, like I did right here. And the first one with 43 million downloads. So it should be the most downloaded one. Go ahead and download that one because we're gonna need that. So once you've got that installed, go back to your Explore tab. So once you're in there, I want you to minimize your VS Code